the question arises immediately. What do you do to defend that revolution and to defend the ANC? And that, in a sense, has been the center of our discussion here, the purpose of our discussion over these last 2 days. Certainly, that was the purpose of the presentations that were made yesterday, to answer these two questions: the defense of the revolution, the defense of the ANC. And in that context, Comrade Tammy says that to implement the strategic task, that's the defense of the democratic revolution and its leader, the ANC, two of the objectives our movement will have to focus on without wavering must be: one, to ensure that wherever the ANC serves in government, at the national, provincial, and municipal levels, it turns the page and actually delivers the goods and services expected in each of these spheres of government. Nobody addressed this issue. Comrade Chair, let's forget about national for now and say, in the Gauteng province, the ANC is in government. It leads the government provincially. And I think we're the government in the majority of municipalities. Am I wrong? The ANC. So this is challenging us to say, as part of our response in terms of the defense of the democratic revolution, let us use the fact that state power is in our hands at the provincial and local government levels, not all of them. I'm talking about Gauteng. Let's use that strength that we have, the positions that we have. State power is in our hands. Why don't we use that state power to produce these outcomes? To turn a page. And you'll remember the quotation that Comrade Tammy used yesterday, quoting Helen Ziller, who was saying that she expects the ANC in the next 10 to 15 years to crumble. And she said, instead of the ANC, we, the DA, must present ourselves as the ones who deliver these goods and services to the people. Here is therefore a proposal, comrades, to yourselves as our leadership in the Gauteng province. What is it that we must do to ensure that we turn the page and actually deliver the goods and services expected of us in the provincial and national and the municipal levels? In that context, the issue that was raised about the recall of councillors was very legitimate, because we've got to make sure that these ANC comrades who are deployed at these levels actually work to produce this outcome. Because to win back, it's obvious, to win back the confidence and so on some of the comrades made the point that the masses have lost confidence in the ANC because of this and that and the other. To win back that support is to address the things that I know when the provincial leadership did its own research and all of that before the elections, to identify what are the challenges facing us. That's electricity, jobs, crime, and so on. This is saying, let us make sure that we use the capacity we have in those areas which state power is in our hands, to address exactly the matters that were identified in our own researches. And I'm sure you will not be able to answer this question, Comrade Chair. Are we confident as ANC that we can do that. That our provincial government, Comrade Panyaza, will indeed make sure that in the manner it functions, it produces these positive results. And that our comrades at the municipal levels, whatever we're in government, Gauteng, Johannesburg, and wherever else, Ekurhuleni, and so on, at that municipal level, and the local municipalities, are we confident that we will so motivate our comrades, despite the observations that some comrades made, to say that a lot of the comrades here don't have the capacity to do this work? But that's a challenge. In order to win back the support of the people and therefore save the democratic revolution, this intervention to win back the support of the people becomes critical. I was saying that if I say to you, Comrade Chair, can you please stand up and give a commitment that this will be done, you will hesitate to stand up. The second thing, two of the objectives our movement have to focus on without wavering. The second one is this renewal issue. The actual renewal of the ANC, informed by what the movement has identified during the last 30 years, that the quality of membership of the ANC has deteriorated in an alarming degree, in good measure because of the entry into its ranks of careerists who do not believe in the values and policies of the movement. As a renewal issue. There's a report I saw maybe a year ago from the Integrity Commission. There's some comrade who had done something as a consequence of which he had to appear before the Integrity Commission. And the Integrity Commission then asked him to write a short political biography, his own, which he did. I am so-and-so, this is when I joined the ANC Youth League, and this and that and the other. And one of the things that was, I read that account by himself, one of the things that struck me as, well, I'll explain as what. He says, in his own words, I am a revolutionary par excellence. So when I read that, I immediately said, he's not a member of the ANC. Couldn't be. But I'm a revolutionary par excellence. The Integrity Commission then says, here is his comrade who ended up in the PEC, who ended up as one of the MECs. And in reality, at best, what he should be is a student activist. But he's sitting in these senior positions in the province. I'm raising that question, comrades, to say what is being suggested, that we need to look at ourselves frankly and properly, is correct. I was saying somewhere else, a few months ago, I talked to one of our provincial chairs to talk about the challenge of renewal of the ANC. And I described to him what the movement has been saying about the deterioration of this membership and some of its consequences. The kind of person who comes into the movement is not movement in terms of its values and principles, but is looking for their own things, self-aggrandizement and all that. This chair of the province of the ANC says to me, President, what you are saying concerning my own province, in terms of the kind of person you say really ought not to be in the movement, that constitutes 60% of our membership in the province. He actually then, he told me about a region. He says, there's a region so-and-so in the province. I said, no, I've heard of the name. He said, every single ANC branch in that region is led by a criminal. Every single one. And then he says, and to make matters worse, he says, and President, in terms of our last provincial conference, the comrade who is a leader in that region is now a member of the PEC. The issue, comrades, I'm saying, the issue of our own self-auditing. Who is in the movement? These people, I heard comrades here introducing themselves when they registering to speak. And I whispered something to Comrade Chairperson, Provincial Chair. I am Comrade Thabo Mbeki. So I would stand up and say, who told you you are a comrade? But it's used as a title, like Mr. and Mrs. and Miss and so on. Yeah. It's about this issue, Comrade Chair. Practically, seriously. These people we call comrades, are they comrades? I'll give you the one last example. After the 2021 elections, somebody circulates a voice note. And that voice note is from a comrade who comes from Newcastle in KZN. And he says, we did not campaign during these last municipal elections in Newcastle. We did not campaign as ANC. He mentions one name of a comrade. He says was very popular in the area, would always get elected. He did not campaign either. And the IFP approached us and persuaded us not to campaign. We didn't campaign. And the reason, he says, if we'd campaigned, we would have won the municipal elections in Newcastle. But we would have put in power criminals, the ones who are leading us. That's why we didn't campaign. So, at the time I asked the comrades who were in the leadership of the ANC in KZN, and I said, have you heard this voice note? Yes, we have. Is the man telling the truth? Yes, he is. So, why have we allowed this to happen? Well, they mumbled something. I don't want to go beyond with that story because that story doesn't end there. Because that person whom they say we did not campaign because we didn't want to elect wrong people. That person ended up also in the PEC of KZN. Well, the comrades later told me that the story that he was a bad fellow was put out by wrong people. The man was fine, it was okay. I'm saying, Comrade Chair, my view is that it is very, very correct. What the movement has said over decades, the quality of our membership has been declining, let's do something about it. The movement was correct. And the renewal process that we must undertake in this process cannot avoid that. But there's got to be, comrades have said correctly, but that should never be done on a factional basis. Very, very correct observation. Which is why Percy was saying there must be criteria that must be agreed. Another comrade said, we are a people's movement. Even that renewal process, it can't be done out of sight of the masses of our people. Which is why Percy was saying, even that part of that renewal process, we must allow the masses of the people also to make a comment. Because they know about Thabo Mbeki, who lives with them in Mufolo. To say, this member of yours is like this and that and the other. Let the masses of the people also participate in the process of assessing us. And he was saying, Patient, I think I'm quoting correctly when he said, we might be surprised that the people know us better than we know ourselves. So this process, comrades, is very, very important. The last thing, 2016, Comrade Parks Tau, he says to me that, please, Comrade President, you must come and join us. Particularly, you must campaign in Soweto. Because if we don't do that, the population of Soweto is going to stay away. So you need to go there and say to them, vote ANC, vote ANC, vote ANC. So I said, Comrade Parks, I think I'm going to decline what you are saying. And the reason is, as a movement, we've been using a slogan which is false. We've got a good story to tell. The masses of the people are suffering. Their conditions are getting worse. And what we say, we've got a good story to tell. I say, I can't, Comrade Parks, go to the people of Soweto and say, I've come here to say vote ANC because we've got a good story to tell. And they can't then say, you of all people, now tell us what is this good story. And I won't have it, the good story. I said to you, Comrade Parks, the danger of what you're proposing is that I will agree with the people. So I'll end up decampaigning the ANC because I agree with the people. We don't have a good story to tell. Then 2019, Lebogang Maile came and said, President, you must come, participate. And I said, Lebogang, I'm coming, together with Panyaza. I said, I will come. The reason is because in the manifesto of the ANC, 2019, they removed that claim. We've got a good story to tell, it's not there. You can check it. Instead, it said, we have made many mistakes. Many things have gone wrong. We have recognized those things ourselves, and we commit ourselves to the people to say, we will change. So indeed, I joined the 2019 campaign on that basis, because I could go around to the people and say, we've made a commitment. We will change. Whether we did, I don't know. I'm saying that, comrades, because as our chairperson, provincial, spoke to close the meeting as we adjourned yesterday, he said something which I wrote down. Comrade Panyaza, you'll correct me. Pardon me if I don't correct, I quote you correctly. He was saying, comrades, we've had this experience of the last elections. The votes in support of the movement dropped as it did. As Lebukhang had said yesterday, we made a commitment that must be 1 or 2 or 3 or however many things that we do differently to communicate a message to the people that we've heard the message from them and therefore we're changing. The comrade provincial chair said the deterioration agenda continues unabated. He was saying, we are not living up to this commitment that we've made, that we're going to change. Instead, this deterioration agenda among us continues unabated. That was yesterday. Today, we must say that, Comrade Provincial Chair, we are going to prove you wrong. Because indeed we will change. In addressing these two big issues, the renewal of the ANC and service delivery wherever we are in government, to address the real interests of the people, that will do both of these things. And therefore, that deterioration agenda will make sure that it is no longer there. I hope, comrades, that's a commitment we're making. Having had this discussion for 2 days, to understand as well, Zoko says that there might be other interpretations about something, is correct. We've had a serious look. What is it that has happened in our country which has led to the crisis, political crisis that we have? That was the presentation, that was the discussion. What do we do? That's been part of the discussion. So, at the end of it, I think we must make this commitment. We will renew ourselves, genuinely renew ourselves, so that even the masses of the people can say, this is a different ANC from the one that we didn't vote for. This one we'll vote for. And I'm saying, in part, that must be based on the fact that we do the things that Zuko was quoting from the ANC constitution, what local government must do. We make a commitment at the end of this meeting that we will do those things. And therefore, what Comrade Panyaza was saying as we adjourned yesterday will no longer prevail. We will be a new ANC doing new things. Not because we want the ANC to look beautiful, but because the ANC, by definition, is a servant of the people. It must serve the people. And exactly because we serve the people will say, next election, we vote ANC. Thanks a lot, comrades, and very well done.